Evening, T. How's it going?
What's going on?
Time to switch to push talk.
Yep, that it is. That it is. All right, as you guys know from previous meetings, we've got a meeting chat channel. Feel free to just do all your typing and your chit chat there for now. That's also where we'll take questions at the end of the meeting. So I'll try to keep an eye on it while I'm running my mouth. So if something comes up I need to address, I can do so. And 1 second, let me pull up my notes.
Hey. Wow, Zetter killed me. How are we supposed to tell who's who? Jesus.
I recommend anyone that isn't on push to talk switch to push to talk or risk being muted by T-Bird.
Okay, we'll do.
Yep. Give me 1 more second. I'm just cleaning up my notes. Sorry, we're late. We had a little technical difficulty.
I explained that I was a technical difficulty. You're all good.
Yeah.
Mama called me a technical difficulty one time. I was technical difficulty ever since I was bored.
All right, got my notes in order. Well, they may be out of order, but they're cleaned up so I can read them now. So, as always, please don't talk while the admins are talking. It's not to be rude, it's just to keep from confusion and everybody talking on top of each other. If you do, the admins will probably end up muting you until the meeting's over. So just keep that in mind. All right, so we do these monthly meetings just to tell you guys how the server's doing. For those of you that are new to the meetings, talk about any new changes and stuff like that. Take questions from the players, just a chance for you guys to kind of connect directly with the staff to get us all here at the same time and go over things. I think this is being recorded. I'm pretty sure it's being recorded. I hope it's being recorded. And we'll post it to our YouTube page so that if you missed it, or, well, if you're here, you didn't miss it, but you know what I'm saying. If anyone else misses it, they can check out the YouTube channel and listen to it.
I can confirm it's being recorded.
Oh, Mac. Cool. Thank you, sir. Hold on 1 second. Let me mute my cell phone so it doesn't bother the hell out of you guys while I'm there we go. The phone always likes to blow up during meetings. All right. So as far as the state of the server, there's not really much to discuss. We had our meeting last month. Not a lot's changed since then. We went through our Christmas month. I hope you guys all had a great Christmas, by the way. Good New Year's, all that good stuff. You know how it goes. I hope you enjoyed Christmas on our server. We try to make December, well, you know, the wipes kind of don't line up correctly. So when I say December, I mean the December force wipe, you know, from then until, I guess, Thursday. We try to make it as fun as we can for you guys, give you lots of loot, you know, dress up the NPCs like elves and weird stuff like that. Obviously have crazy maps and all kinds of extra stuff added to the maps for fun. So it actually takes a ton of effort. Our staff put in a lot of effort playing Santa Claus all month long. They put a ton of effort into events and stuff like that. Sorry, my dog likes to push in my lap. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed all that. We really put a lot of work into this stuff. I did my stuff on the maps. My staff did stuff, you know, making sure you guys had a good time with Santa Claus and presents and events and all kinds of fun stuff. So I really hope you guys enjoyed December. I consider it the most fun month on this server. Yeah, and I definitely hope you guys liked my ski jump. I worked really hard on that. Sorry, the doors kind of messed up there. Face Punch likes to break things, but still ended up being a lot of fun. I may throw that on another map just for shits and giggles, even though it won't be Christmas. Anyway, okay, so moving on to my notes. my first note was to discuss why we have deployable limits, sign limits, build limits, blah blah blah. So basically, the reason we have these kind of limits, I say this almost every meeting, is we're not trying to be Nazis. We're not trying to tell you guys how to play the game. We actually don't like doing stuff like that. We want you to have as much fun as you can and do whatever you want to do. But we have to keep player, I don't even know what the word would be, the playability for everybody as our top priority. And what that means is if things that you're doing are causing other players to not be able to play or enjoy themselves, that's a problem. I can tell you right now, there's nothing you can do entity-wise. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's stuff you could do. You can throw thousands of pumpkins all over the map or something, but there's nothing you can really do in normal Rust gameplay, even on a PvE server, that's going to harm our actual machine. So when we bitch and complain about performance, it's the other players that we're standing up for. It's not the server. I mean, you guys can build bases, the size of the whole map, and it's not going to slow the server down at all. But what it's going to do is it's going to make other players unable to play the game. So the reason we have deployable limits and building limits and all these different limits is so that we can ensure that everybody can enjoy themselves and play the game without, having their gameplay impeded or even not able to log in or anything. It can get to the point where, hell, Hannah can tell you this best. I don't remember if you remember this, Hannah, but back when we had that map with the single skyscraper and we let everybody build in town, and I'd say by day 3 of the wipe, everybody kept crashing and timing out, and nobody could log into the game. And we're like, what the hell? We thought the server was messed up. Come to find out, through some trial and error, it was everybody that was anywhere remotely close to town could not log into the server, period, admins included. I mean, completely just shut out. And it was all because it was because we let people build in town, and it got so congested with big buildings and stuff that it literally stopped even admins from being able to log in. We had to destroy buildings, destroy bases, and sure enough, once we did, everybody could log back in just fine. So it really does affect things. The server was running great. That's what was so difficult about trying to troubleshoot the problem back then, was the server. We have metrics that we watch. Server was running great. It was smoking, and we couldn't figure out why nobody could log in, and kept crashing. And come to find out, it's because there's so many buildings and deployables and just crap like that. We had something similar happen recently, and it took us a while to figure out what that was. We couldn't get anywhere near a grid without crashing, admins included, even in NoClip. And we finally managed, I don't know if it was Mac or somebody, managed to sneak close enough to find out that someone had, God, like 30, 40, 50, maybe even more sign artist signs in their base, pictures of anime or whatever the hell it was. But it was so much lag on your PC trying to load all that stuff that it would literally crash you and you couldn't log back in.
It was me. I found it, and it was feet.
Yeah. So, 1 second. Sorry, I was eating cinnamon toast earlier, and I inhaled some cinnamon, and it's just like, oh, my throat is just ripped. My throat is just ripped. So I keep choking. Yeah, don't inhale cinnamon. Do not advise that. Anyway, so the point being is, any kind of limits we put on you guys, I promise you, it's not to be a dick. We really are just trying to make sure that everybody can enjoy themselves on the server. At the same time, when we do put those limits, you need to obey by them. They're there for a reason. And I know some of them can seem kind of small. Yes, that. Some of them can seem kind of small. Well, that's not fair. How come I can only have, 9 of this when I could easily put down 50 of these on another server and it didn't cause any issues? It's about the multiplication. We're a high pop server. So sure, you could put down 50, but then so could the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. You see what I'm saying? It's just the multiplication. So when we set these limits, we have to kind of do the math and figure out how many players are going to be in that area and kind of divide it out that way. So that's the reason why some of the limits seem a little smaller than you would expect. And
think about it this way, folks. We have 618 sleepers along with the 60 people online right now. If everybody had 10 campfires, that's now 6,000 plus campfires. That's where that starts hurting.
I can tell you for a fact, I try to type this every time we're doing a wipe. In the general chat, I type how many players we had total. I know this because anytime someone logs in, it creates a unique file for that player. And when I go to delete those files during the wipe, I can see obviously how many files I have selected. I can tell you with 100% accuracy, the minimum players we've had in the last year per wipe is 800. On some of the busier wipes back during the summertime, we were hitting over 1,000. So anywhere between 800 to 1,000 players log into our server every wipe. That's in 10 days. Granted, most of them are repeats because, you guys like the server and keep coming back. But just know 800 to 1,000 people every single wipe on our server. So we got to keep the deployables and the buildings down. Give me 1 second. Another cinnamon choke here. What's funny is when I made the cinnamon toast, I was thinking to myself, I haven't had cinnamon toast in a while. Let's do that for dinner tonight. And sure enough, now I'm choking to death on it. This is what happens when your wife leaves you at home alone. You have cinnamon toast for dinner. All right, so moving on to the next thing. Yeah, it is worth it, man. I had 4 pieces too. I was just gorging myself on cinnamon toast. Anyway, so moving on. I don't even remember what caused me to write this note, but if you do something stupid or reckless in the, oh, I know what did this. Never mind. If you do something stupid or reckless in the game and it's not the admin's fault, the server's fault, or a plugin fault, it's your fault. And it's not our job to remedy the situation. Now, granted, yes, it's our job to make sure, you're taken care of. And what I mean by that is, say you're flying a minicopter and you lose internet and you crash and you can't get back online, your corpse is going to probably despawn. Let us know. We'll go take care of it for you. It's not our fault. We'll still take care of it for you because, we try to be good people. We try to be nice. But what you have to remember is this is a video game. Shit's going to happen. Stuff's going to break. And I don't mean server-wise. I mean with you. You're going to do something stupid, get yourself killed. It could be clan politics. You invite somebody in your clan and they end up screwing you over. We can't get involved in that kind of stuff. It's just the way video games are. We will get involved if it's something our map causes or our server causes or a plugin causes, but we're not going to get involved in just normal gameplay stuff that goes wrong. Good example: if you wander into Zombie Island, you're a new player, but you're not new as in a new tag, but you've been here for a day or two. You wander into Zombie Island, you get killed, you can't get your corpse back. I'm sorry, it's not our fault. There's plenty of warnings, and even if there weren't warnings, it's a video game. Sometimes you wander into a level you weren't meant to wander into, and you end up getting killed. Moving on. PvP is a riskful situation. If you get anywhere near a PvP bubble, those bubbles are not exact. They could be off by 5 or 10 meters even. It's just the bubble is there as a graphic to try to show you a good idea of where the PvP zone is. It's still not exact. So it's one of those things, don't play around fire if you're not prepared to get burned. So if you wander up near a PvP bubble, I don't care if your intention wasn't to go in there and PvP. If you're anywhere near it, just be prepared that something could happen. If you're hell bent on I cannot die, I cannot lose my stuff, don't go near a PvP bubble. They're pretty easy to spot. We had issues with players getting real close and standing right on the edge of the bubble and then getting killed, and then they want to come to the admins to remedy the situation, and we're not going to do that. Just stay away from PvP bubbles if you don't want to PvP. 99% of the server is PvE, so it's pretty easy to stay away from them. By the way, admins, if you have anything to say while I'm rambling, just jump in and add on to it. Let me read my next note here. It's a long one, so give me 1 second. Oh, okay. Well, I'm just going to be weird and just read this note verbatim. This is what my note says. This is literally the 50th time I've had to put this in the meeting notes. Raid bases are not there to make profit. They are there as an entertainment. Players have nothing to do with their boom in PvE. They used to complain that they farm all wipe for top tier stuff in boom and then have nothing to use it on, and hated that it all got deleted. So then we gave them something to use it on, and now they bitch that they can't finish the wipe with tons of boom because that's going to get deleted anyway. So you guys need to understand that the raid bases are not a form of farm. They're not there as a way for you to get loot. Obviously, you do get loot, but they're not there as a way. They're not like let's face it. The Bradley is just a big golden egg. That's all it is. It's not a difficult challenge. It's not there, as something to work your way up to and fight. The Bradley is pretty much just a Christmas present. We all know that. Yeah, we have plans for the Bradley in the future, but yeah, we all know that that's just a Christmas present. Raid bases aren't meant to be a big Bradley. They're not meant to be, okay, I farm this, I farm that, now I'm going to go farm some hards and get this. That's not the way they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be entertainment. For almost a year, we didn't have them, and our players constantly complain like, oh, we farm so much boom, there's nothing to do with it. The Bradley's boring, the heli is boring. And we finally give them something to do with all that boom because they were so sick and tired of ending the wipe with stacks of boom. And now they're mad because they can't end the wipe with stacks of boom. It just honestly baffles me. It makes no sense to me. Now, I do understand, and I'm going to say this before Aliana jumps on me, I do understand that you got to have some kind of reward for, effort. That's why they have good loot. They do have good loot. If you don't think they have good loot, you really either A, don't know how to raid correctly, or you're not very good at, dividing out the loot and recycling things and getting parts for other stuff. But they have good loot. We're going to discuss the raid bases in more detail later on in the meeting, but just know that they're meant to be a form of entertainment, not a form of farm, and not a form of just getting fat loot. And again, I do recognize that you still need to get a reward, for effort, but just know the reward's not always going to be bigger than the effort. And again, we will discuss them in more detail in just a minute here, because we do have some changes coming. All right, let me scroll on down here. Hold on, my next note has a link in it. I got to click it to see what it is.
Expansion on what you just said.
Oh, okay. Then I can probably just skip that for now. She must be looking at my notes. Okay, my next note is touchy. I don't want to come off as a jerk when I say this one, but we gotta actually, ironically, the people that need to hear it probably aren't here or couldn't understand me anyway. We need to work on English in chat. We discussed making it a rule among staff, but decided against doing that. Because we like to welcome everybody from all over the world, which we do. I love having the amount of people from other countries that play on our server is amazing to me. I don't know if you guys have ever, what's Wakana, and then what's their clan name again? Aliana, do you know?
Mary.
Yeah,
Mary, that's right. I don't know if you guys have ever run into the Mary clan. Those guys are all Japanese. They don't speak a lick of English. I think Mokopu or something. I think she might speak a little English, but they don't speak any English. They've been on our server, God, almost a year and a half now. Never caused problems. They try to use English when they can. Nicest group of people you ever meet. So we love having people from all over the world, but we got to work on maybe taking the foreign languages to team chat. And again, it's nothing against people from other countries. This is an English-based, American-based server, and it's more of the alienation of the rest of chat. Part of the joy on our server, this is even coming from a staff standpoint too, is just the chat. I love nothing more than tapping into general chat on our server and just shooting the shit with you guys and making funny jokes or doing whatever. That's just part of our server is the chat and the social aspect of things. So constant spam in other languages kind of alienates half the server from the other half of the server. So we want to try to keep things in English in global chat. Again, we're not going to make that a rule. That would just be too excluding, which we don't want to do. But we're going to try to encourage people to take the other languages to team chat or clan chat or something. My next note is discuss upcoming raid bases overhaul. We're going to save that for last. So zombie horde changes. I'm sure you guys read, we upped the health of the zombies and the zombie hordes. We also upped the loot to make up for it. Expect more changes in the future. I actually put them where they're at. I think Drac is who told me what to put them at there. And honestly, I don't think I'm satisfied yet. I think they need to go even higher or even harder. I don't know if that means, I increase their run speed or if I increase their health or what. If I make them much harder, of course, I'll tinker with the loot some more too. I don't want to totally make them pointless, but at the same time, they're supposed to be scary as hell. Like I envision the zombie hordes, the thing that you're running along, you're doing your thing, you're farming, whatever, and you see a horde and you're like, holy shit, I gotta go. That's what I envision them being. I envision them being one of those things that unless you got, a good gun and a good perch, you're gonna run like hell. And so we're probably going to be buffing those some more in the near future here. I'll have to discuss that more with the staff. We usually don't make any serious changes like that without at least, feeling each other up for some ideas. So I'm going to go feel up Drac, see what he's got hiding under there, and see what he wants to do with the zombie hordes. But just expect there'll probably be some changes coming soon to those.
This is what I get when Zap's not great.
Oh, Zap's here too. Yeah, but he's
know.
been gone for like a month, so I have to sexually harass Drac now.
I'm here. He still harasses me in private messages. It's okay.
Threesome time now.
Look out, Drac.
Oh, great. And this is all being recorded too. It's wonderful. All right. Anyway.
Even better.
I had a quick note about the crashes in December. I don't know if you guys noticed it. We had more crashes in December than our servers had in probably 9 months. I just wanted you guys to know this is going to sound cheesy and like a cop-out, but it's not us, man. We actually figured out a way to make the server do a dump, giggity, when it crashes so that we can check it and see what happened. And we've been doing that lately, and every single crash has been PhysX Unity crash. Unity, obviously the engine that drives Rust, and PhysX, I'm guessing, is some sort of physics thing inside Unity. I'm not really sure.
That's
honestly,
all your ragdolling and things like that.
Yeah. Which explains those stretchy corpses sometimes that cause serious lag. Anyway, so the best I can tell you is every single one of the last 6 crashes we've had, which date all the way back to July, 3 this month, and then 3 all the way back to July. All of them have been PhysX Unity engine. So I don't know what that is. Nivix doesn't know what it is. None of us. It's a face punch thing. There's nothing we can do about it. The bad news is we're not really here to sit there and replace everything when the server crashes. Doing it this month was sort of Ali. I hope you guys know that night it crashed. What was I doing, Elion? I had something going on that night.
I think you're off on your way to bed.
Yeah, I was something. I was literally like half 1 foot out the door to bed, and the shit crashed. And this woman, I hope you guys know how much this woman kills herself for this server. It's absolutely ridiculous. And she did. She handled that whole crash with a full load of players that night by herself. So give her some props for doing that for you guys, because I don't do that. And as a staff, we're not going to be doing that. And she went through there and just hand picked every person and tried to put them back whole again. But we're not going to do that, guys. I hate to be a jerk. I can't even begin to describe to you how stressful and how much work it is when that happens, trying to take care of all of you. And we just can't keep doing it. It's especially when we know it's not our fault, which means it can happen at any time. There's nothing we can do about it. We didn't make Unity. So just know that is not a normal thing for us to sit there and try to replenish everybody.
And if I could just add real quick on that, our saves are every 15 minutes. So at most, you lose 15 minutes work. And I know that a lot can be done in 15 minutes, but a lot can be redone in 15 minutes too. And so, that's just something to consider. I know that this most recent crash, people were like, I lost all my boom because of switching it back and forth from their backpack. Try not to get in the habit of carrying all of your boom on you at all times, just in case something like that happens. I mean, it's devastating. You walk into a PvP base and you don't realize that it's PvP.
Yeah, your backpack first off saves every time you close it. So now,
whereas the server doesn't.
Yeah, so where the server saves every 15 minutes, your backpack saves every time you close it. So you sit there and you put something in your backpack, close it, it saves. You take something out, put it in your inventory, and the backpack saves. Now it rolls back 15 minutes. And that stack of C4 you had magically disappears. It's because you took the entire thing out of your backpack and put it in your inventory. So just decide to get in the habit, pull a couple out, use it. Don't pull it all.
Yeah, or don't even carry it all with you. So exactly what he said, your backpack saves instantly, and that includes taking stuff out of it. So those of you that lost stuff, just like he said, you took it out, then the server crashed and it rolled back to a point where you didn't have it in your inventory, but you definitely don't have it in your backpack now because it just saved. So just, yeah, like you said, get in the habit of don't carry everything with you. You never know when it could happen. It could crash with 10 players on. It could crash with 150 players on. And again, it's a Rust thing. It's Unity, and there's nothing we can do about it. It has nothing to do with plugins, nothing to do with our server hardware. There's just nothing we can do about it. And like she said, 15 minutes is the biggest rollback. That's not, unless you're doing what Drac just advised you not to do and carrying everything you own in your backpack or in your inventory. That's not that big of a deal. 15 minutes on this server is nothing. Most people are maxed out by day 3 of a wipe. So you could technically play 3 wipes worth of play in a 10-day period here. So just be real careful with that kind of stuff. We really just wanted to explain to you how all that works so that you can decide what's best for you. Now you know how the backpacks save. Now you know how your inventory saves. You can decide what's best for you. That's why some people were getting items duplicated because they were putting them in their backpack, which it was saving, and then it rolled back to back when it was still in their inventory. Now they have 2 copies of it. But some people were losing stuff because they were doing the opposite. So I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do about it in the future, and we will not be doing something about it in the future. Obviously, little things like, if the server crashes, you log back in and a Bradley blasts you in the face or something like that, will help you with that kind of stuff because it's not your fault.
That's my fault.
And we will also, reset everybody's raid timers and stuff like that. And not only that, but if you just bought, there are some circumstances we will help you. I don't want to sound like a total dick here. So if you just bought a hard raid and the server crashes, we can see everything that happens with raid bases. We can see it in our logs. So when you buy a hard raid, it says blah, 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 just purchased a raid, blah, blah, blah. So if you did that, just tell us, hey, I just bought a hard raid, the server crashed. We'll reset your timers, give you your RP back, let you go back about your business. Stuff like that we'll do. It's just the whole inventory thing. We can't keep doing that. We can't mess with that. We have no way to prove it. We have no way to sort through it all. And it's just such a tedious thing. We can't do it. My next note, we kind of touched on earlier with the whole deployables and everything. My note just says, this is not a build server. Please get your base sizes under control. We've had some insanely huge bases recently. Just get them under control, please. This, like I said, it's not a build server. We do have one, and this is not it. Same thing. My next note was the new sign limitations. I don't know if you guys read the notes or not, but it's now limited by a radius and per player. The reason being is, as I described earlier, when we had that incident, where too many signs and even admins couldn't get within a grid distance of that location without crashing. So we limited it by both player and distance, because doing it just by distance, isn't totally fair. So we wanted to increase that number a little bit, but then we didn't want, one person hoarding up all the signs in that area. So we also did it by player. TP Corpse only works if you are not building blocked by the TC. Is that confirmed as working correctly right now? Any admins know?
I'm pretty confident it works.
Okay, so what that means, it was always supposed to be this way. I know it was broken for a while, and we didn't know why. I think we even touched on this at the last meeting of why it was done this way, because people were abusing it to try to get inside raid bases. But yeah, TP Corpse should not work if your corpse location is under another TC radius. So just know that ahead of time. Also, like I said in the last meeting, it's not advisable to instantly TP corpse like to something that killed you and is most likely still there. Just, you would be surprised how many support tickets we've had of people that died, to a shotgun trap, and then they TP corpse, and then they submit a support ticket because they TP'd and died again instantly. Like, come on, people. Abandoned base timers longer now. I don't even remember what we set them at now. Is it 246?
I think it's one more.
It's not 246? 357?
357, I think.
You sure? I don't want to officially say it in the meeting and then be wrong here. Hold on. I think I know my own config, right? Well, whatever's in /info, because I remember updating that because somebody was complaining about it. I will pull that up real quick while I'm running my mouth here.
Well, while you do that,
yeah, 357. Okay, so we increased the raid base the abandoned raid bases to 357. We had lowered them a lot back when we were hitting Q. during the summer when we were slammed and hitting 150 players every night, just to try to keep all the extra bases, going. Now that we're back down to normal winter time population, which we usually dip pretty low in the winter like this. We lowered the timers, or we increased the timers to 3 days, 5 days, and 7 days, respectively. Normal player, VIP, veteran, before your base turns into a raid or goes poof. All right, let me get back to where I was here.
And just realize too, for those that are here, the abandoned raid base thing. If your last login was 1 p.m. Eastern, 3 days from now at 1 p.m. Eastern, your base turns into an abandoned raid base.
Or goes poof.
Yeah, or goes poof if it doesn't qualify to be a raid base. So just make sure that you are logging in.
You can literally just log in and log out too. Like just to reset your timer. That's all you got to do. Just log in and log out. And if you guys didn't know, the base, this is with player bases and abandoned bases, they get determined difficulty by how complex the base is, and that's how it decides how much loot it's going to put in there and stuff like that. So, and if it's under the minimum, it just poofs it. One last note on that, on the raid bases, exploiting player raid base by building flank bases outside of it. We actually have a new version of the plugin I haven't installed yet. It's on the test server. We need to test some things on it, but it's meant to stop people from exploiting this. But until then, that's exploiting. I can't punish you. I've seen plenty of you do it. I can't punish you for it because it's not against the rules, but let's be real. That's bullshit. When you can build an invincible base just outside the radius of your other base that you're about to convert into a PvP base, that's horseshit. That's not fair. That you can, because then all you do, we had players that would do that. They'd build another base, 90 meters away, and then they'd build their raid base. They would convert it to a raid base, and they'd just slash home into the other base where they're invincible. And then as soon as somebody crosses into the bubble, they just jump in there and shoot them and kill them. Come on, that's bullshit. So we have a solution. It's not going to let. I think the way he did it is the person who owns the raid base, it won't work if they have a sleeping bag or a bed or a beach towel and all that, all those good things. If they have one of those within a certain distance, and we're trying to work on some other stuff. But anyway, regardless of how the fix works, if we catch players doing that, just you're hereby notified that is exploiting, period, by all definitions of the word. So it will be punishable from this point forward. I don't want to see people doing that kind of crap. It's okay to put, throw yourself a sleeping bag in a bush somewhere, and everybody does that. Throw an extra kit in a box or a stash. But to blatantly build another base, like we had one the other day, there was like 3 flanking bases outside the raid base. Like, are you serious? Come on. So let's be real. That's just ridiculous. Hopefully you all understand that. And don't just think I'm being a meanie head, but that's just not cool. Hey, Mr. Forgetful, don't forget to turn off oh, okay. So now we're going to touch on raid base changes. Drac or Aliana, you guys are heading this project. Do either one of you want to just run your mouth on this, or do you want me to give it a try?
I'm happy to, or Drac can.
Either one of us.
Okay. So we've been working to examine basically every single base that's in our repertoire. There's been a lot of bases that have just kind of stacked up over, the year, and a lot of changes that we've made that have kind of allowed for some imbalance in some of those bases. In particular, like, you could do 3 different easy raids and have 3 different experiences, and that's something that I don't think that we want to proceed with or continue on. You should have a feeling going into a base of easy that it's just going to be the same kind of level of experience that you need to go through them. And that's not to say that they're all going to be just flat, boring bases, but it's more so to kind of address some of the ones that are in there. Like, anyone who's rated, I've done a medium that should definitely be a hard. I've done an easy that should definitely be a medium. I've also done a hard that should probably be an easy if it just had different walls. And so we're trying to address all of that and kind of make things more diverse. The second thing is that we're kind of trying to standardize a little bit the expectation when you go into those bases, because there are 2 new levels coming out. And Drac, if you want to speak more on that, you can, because we're still kind of trying to define all that, but I know that you're the man with the plan there. And so it's kind of both a squish in the difficulty, but also expanding each of those individual difficulties to provide a better experience overall.
You know, we're still working out exactly where we're going to have, you know, what difficulties what, but realize. So we're going to have the base. We're going to shift everything up a little bit and have a base 4 difficulties. And ideally those will. And NT, you can probably chime in this one slightly, but those 4 will be the ones that will spawn around the map, and then we're probably going to do Nightmare difficulty, which is something that people can either buy. I don't know if we're necessarily going to have that spawn on the map, but
yeah, we haven't ironed that out yet.
Yeah, there's a little bit. We still got a little bit of talking on that side, but realize the one thing, and we're still playing with, looking at, trying to figure out what we can do. Nightmare bases are going to be that base that is, oh god, what the fuck is this thing sitting in front of me? There will be loot, but we're not going to care how much boom you use. You know, we may have an idea in our heads like how much you need to get in the other bases, and try and keep the bases to that concept. The Nightmare bases are there as a nightmare. They're there for the people that want to throw, excessive amounts of boom at something. They're there for the people that want the challenge to go, man, that thing looks like a terror. You know, you look at some of the PvP bases on PvP day and you're going, holy crap, that's what I want Nightmare bases to be, and I want that challenge there.
And that's not to say that, things are going to just be easier across the board. There's still going to be some raids that are punishing, and when it comes to raids in general, if you have a feeling that something's wrong, feel free to call it out in the NPC base channel so that we can take a look at it. We are having to go one by one, so this is a really long-term project. I really wanted to be done further, but as the people who are working with me can attest, it's been just something that I haven't been able to make as much time for. But once we do, we're still going to have to do multiple passes over it. So just know that if you run into a base that's sunk in the ground, that's floating, that has loot that you think is unfair for the difficulty, do /RB and report it in the NPC base channel so that we can take a look at it. And understand that this is going to be a long process while we kind of fine tune things. And it's not like we're going to publish our baseline goals for what we want these raids to be, but we're kind of going with the same mindset of, if you raid this efficiently and well, it will be around this level of expenditure. And that kind of goes back to what T was saying earlier about what's profit and is this profit. And a lot of times people always want to be going into these thinking that they're going to be getting a boom profit. And just to kind of reiterate, that's not how this is designed. This is designed to be an entertainment factor for you, and for something for you to do, and for you to have an interesting experience as you go through it.
Yeah, so like they said, the Nightmare is just going to be almost like a bragging rights thing. I don't know if you mentioned it because I was typing. We're even considering like making almost like some kind of rank or title that you get for conquering a Nightmare base. I don't know how this is going to work. It'll most likely have to be a manual thing that we do, because I might be able to convince Nivix to add something like that to the plugin. But anyway, so just know that we're going to have 4 levels of difficulty now. They're going to be spread out better. The easies will definitely be easy. The mediums will be medium, hard, and expert, extremely hard. Just know that we're going to be cleaning up the loot too. We're going to be touching up the loot.
And as I was saying, realize where we were kind of trying to push things. We're going to try and push things a little bit more. So like, someone that is consistently doing hards and experts may not necessarily want to do an easy, because that easy is not going to give them what it used to. Like, frankly, you're probably, once we're done, you probably won't see C4 in an easy.
I can tell you with all certainty you're not going to see C4 in easies anymore.
I want people to be able to spear raid, shotgun raid in easy for the most part. And then move up after doing a couple easies to go into a medium, and then do easies and mediums until they go into a hard, so on and so forth.
That's the ultimate goal. But we're also going to change the. I think we're doing this. Aliana's kind of in charge of the project here. I think we're changing the building grade so it's not an automated thing anymore. It actually makes sense now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to kind of backtrack a little bit, and I'm sure the person who's been helping us is in this channel. I don't want to put him on blast unless he wants to be, but it's probably gonna roll his eyes a little bit. But we have to redo all the bases that we've already done because we're changing it to where it doesn't auto assign the walls anymore, which is actually a really good thing for us. And the reason why is there are some raids that exist right now where the TC is walled in or there's loot that's walled in, and if it spawned as it was built, you would know that because one wall would be oddly out of place. But because of the way that our raid overrides the walls, it's not like that. And so there are hard bases where the TC is completely hidden, but you'd know where to go if only you could tell that one wall was different, but it all meshes together.
But instead of a stone wall on sheet metal, you're now looking at all sheet metal or all high qual, and you're like, where's the wall? Where if you're like, oh, why is there a stone wall there?
So anyway, big overhaul. The raid basis is coming. I can't speak on when it'll be done. These people have been absolutely killing themselves on this project. It's very tedious. If just the spreadsheet alone the other night when we had to have a staff meeting about it, I looked at the spreadsheet and almost threw up in my mouth. It's very detailed. We're trying to make this as calculated as we can be. I guarantee you that this is going to put us as the best raid-based server in Rust, period. Not even counting all the other stuff we do, just raid bases wise. We're going to have the best collection, the best setup, the best bang for your buck, and the fairest and most balanced too. Just to touch on it, the easies will be getting a little lower in loot, but they won't have stone walls and armored doors. The mediums will probably hover around a little bit less loot, but they'll also be a little easier. And then the hard. So we're going to adjust things, and then the hards and the experts are probably going to get an increase in loot to make them more viable too. So it's not going to be nerfs, it's not going to be buffs, it's going to be some of everything to really balance these things out and make it a progression type thing.
For those people that like building and wouldn't mind chomping at the bit to help once we are done, obviously right now we're going to be looking for more bases once we figure out where things are sitting. But for those that are chomping at the bit that can base build, that want to base build, we do take submissions. There's a ton of our bases that we've just yanked off of players going, sweet, that looks really cool. And T and I would be flying around and be like, sweet, cool, put that in our back pocket, save it for later.
Also, one thing to note on the fact that we do take submissions, if you design your base in Fortify, thanks to T, we can actually grab that up now if you just put it up on the workshop. So you can also submit your bases like that as well. And if you've got questions, feel free to reach out to us. Like I said, we don't really necessarily want to publicize a lot of our baselines in mind, but we can still provide some guidance to you so that that when you build a base, it's going to be successful as far as being actually included in our catalog.
Can I add something to that?
Absolutely not. Go for it.
Wait. By the way, to the rest of the players, I Am Eternal has volunteered and has been helping Aliana on this project, and he's been kicking a lot of ass and putting a lot of work in. And he doesn't get anything out of that. He's just volunteering and doing this stuff. So absolutely, take the floor, man.
I did get Dracon's skull out of it, so it was worth it. But when it comes to making bases, just keep in mind there are limitations, are restrictions to specific things such as foundation requirements and things of that nature. You can ask, obviously, Aliana or Dracon, they're going to know exactly the specifications needed. I have been working with them rather closely with this project, so I do know the limitations on foundations if they're not available. But like I told Aliana, and I've shown Dracon as well, I've personally been working on expert bases because, when it comes down to it and when they finally get released, we are going to need quite a bit of them to fill that void because we're starting on a blank slate with expert. So anyone that wants to make expert bases, especially but using Fortify. Fortify is a very easy program to work around, very easy to work with, and you don't have to worry about it wiping come force wipe or whatever. Um, I'm always available for questions if anyone needs anything about it.
Oh, and one more note there. I do want to at some point get like a channel that just kind of has these guidelines written down, but just understand that in the current scope of things, it's a very low priority thing. We want to get things rounded out on the existing bases that we have. And that's not to say don't continue reporting things when they come up. We still want to hear about bases that are not balanced, but just know that we are literally going through every single base in the catalog. So hopefully a lot of the things that maybe have been an issue for you guys in the past are going to get sorted out for you now.
All right, so good news is that's the end of my notes. Does any admin have anything they need to bring up or discuss? Going once, going twice. Any staff?
Oh, okay. I was just going to mention, I'd asked T to put that thing in about the builds. So this map that we are on right now is really, really large, which is awesome. And it's allowed a lot of people to really flex their building muscle, myself included. And I know that that's something that T is always trying to account for, like the Heli Island that's coming in, which by the way, did you talk about that?
Yeah, we got to touch on that next. Sorry. Well, I'll hit that as soon as you're done.
So just keep in mind that we are, a lot of that stuff is up to discretion of the admins, and I appreciate the people who have worked with us to tune their bases back as we needed to in this server, but or this map anyway. But just know that some of the maps that we have in our repertoire are not as open and will have those kinds of same limitations. So just keep that in mind as we go into the next wipe, please.
The next map actually has very little flat terrain and a shit ton of monuments and custom monuments. So building space is very limited on the next map. It's a fun map. It's a good one. You guys are going to like it. And we've added some new stuff to it. Speaking of which,
can I touch on something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Related to that. So with the build stuff, it's not just the size of the base, it's the amount. So like with the entire thing where it's like, hey, the main server's not a build server. You don't need to be building 5 or 6 bases all clumped together in one grid for yourself. Like if you want to have multiple bases, spread them out throughout the different grids or whatever, but you don't need a whole bunch of them in just one grid. I've probably seen 4 different players that they got at least 3 bases all clumped together, and it's like, okay, well this base is just loot, this other base is nothing, and then they have a farm base, and it's like, oh, okay, well, why not just consolidate that into
set up
one?
2 bases, might be one for the farm and one for everything else.
Yeah, and it's just like it doesn't really make sense why, and like they're not even the same design. They're all different designs, so it's kind of like it looks like somebody was like trying to figure out, oh, what do I want to design my base as on the main server. So if you don't know what kind of base you want to design or whatever, we do have the build server. It's very easy to build on.
I know people like doing like communal building with their friends and stuff. Like you've got 3 people in your clan, each of you guys has a tiny little house, and you want to all be together. In that kind of scenario, just remember that like if it's foundationally connected and tight enough in that I think that we've allowed that kind of stuff in the past. So
yeah. All right, Toko, we'll get to your question when we get to the questions at the end here. Just remember what you wanted to ask. So touching on that, hopefully this will help. So the 2 issues we've been trying to nail are, number 1, people crashing patrol heli on top of other people's bases and burning all their shit down. And number 2 is, if everybody's got to have a base and then everybody's got to have a heli tower, that's, twice as many bases. So we're trying out the new thing, the Heli Island thing. We actually got some players together to form like a little panel to kind of test it with them, see what they thought, get their ideas. Thanks for helping out, you guys. And we decided ultimately to go ahead and go live with this and give it a try. This is requiring a ton of work on the map side. I'm having to build an entire new landmass on every single map we have. And of course, I designed 2 heli towers for it. I made one just plain, looks like a player built heli tower. I put some antennas and stuff on top of it just so you can tell that it's not a player built one. And then of course I made my super duper one with the glass the glass embrasures and glass walls, which I'm telling you right now from testing. Briscoe, I think you came and tested it with me. Briscoe will vouch for you. It's elite. Fighting a heli from that thing is almost cheating.
Yeah, you're not gonna have anything better than that.
Yeah, you're never going to make a tower better than that, just because of the fact that it's invincible and it's see through. Like, I mean, how much more could you ask for fighting a heli? So the reason I did that is to try to get less heli towers on the map. You're not to engage. This is, by the way, this is all starting with the next wipe. I don't want somebody to be confused and think this is live right this very second. But you're not to engage the heli off of Heli Island. Heli Island is like Zombie Island in that when you enter it, it tells you in chat you've now entered Heli Island, blah blah blah, and it lets you know when you've left Heli Island, so that you know that you've left. You're not to engage the heli when you're not in Heli Island. You can tag it and stuff like that, but when you do, you get your ass over to Heli Island, so it follows you there. There will be a warp point there. At this time, we do not have any plans on increasing the amount of warps. The reason being, some admins suggested it, some didn't, and we've gone back and forth with all different kinds of ideas across this. And the reason I decided not to increase warps is because I figure everything has to be a give and take for balance. You guys know I like my server to be hard, but at the same time, I don't want to discourage people from wanting to play on it. So it's give and take. It's kind of a take because now that's one more warp you'd have to use if you want to go fight the heli. But the give is you literally have a see-through invincible tower to fight it in now. So, that'll make up for the lack of the extra warp that you had to use to get there, which you don't have to. You could always just, take a boat, take a mini copter, whatever you want to do to get there. Anyway, players are not to fight the heli off of Heli Island. If you tag it, get your butt over there and bring it with you. Obviously accidents happen, you get caught running around and it starts shooting at you. We're not going to sit there and, oh my God, the heli shot at you, you're banned. But at the same time, we're not stupid. We know when you're fighting the heli off of Heli Island. So just watch yourself, get it back to the island to fight it.
Well, we don't exactly want you to be running amok fighting a public heli on regular stuff. Realize, try and bring it over there. Try and get over there to the best of your ability.
And I don't want to hear my biggest issue is I don't want to hear this ticket. Where we yell at you, or not a ticket, but we yell at you, and then your response is, well, I know, but I pulled it over to the lighthouse and there were no bases anywhere around, so I figured it would be okay to fight. No, it's not your decision to make. I agree with you. It probably was fine, but that's not the point. It's the principle of it. We're asking you to not fight the heli on the main land, so I don't want to hear, that kind of response. Again, once you try that heli tower I made, you're going to like fighting it over there anyway. And on that same note, though, or on the other side of that coin, I should say, players are allowed to build on Heli Island, but you're only allowed to build a heli tower. That's for a person or clan. So if you're in a clan, you get one heli tower over there. If you're by yourself, you get one heli tower over there. Trying to skirt around that and build multiple towers or multiple bases on Heli Island will get your base destroyed instantly. No questions asked. We're not going to come to you about it. We're not going to get onto you about it. We're not going to give you your stuff back. We're just going to level it. And probably the fun way, too, with the explosives.
Can I watch that?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll let everybody know ahead of time so they can warp over there to watch.
Hell yeah.
So just don't try to skirt us on this, please. We put a lot of work and a lot of effort and a lot of discussion into this. We think it's a good idea. We think it'll work out well. No building regular bases or compounds and stuff like that on Heli Island. It's just for heli buildings. Like we're not going to sit there and I don't want somebody to build a compound and say, oh, well, I used it to fight the heli. No. Just, build something to fight the heli with or use our base.
Yeah, the other side, folks, we understand new folks are going to be showing up. We understand new people are going to come in. We understand old people are going to come back. If you see people fighting stuff, don't jump on them and be like, oh, God, what are you doing? Just be like, hey, guys, there's now something for this. Is put in place for this. So people know. Because I don't expect that new person that hasn't played on our server ever to realize there's a Heli Island, or something like that. So, just as you were a new player once too, most of you people are good about it. I'm not saying, oh my God, you people are terrible. But just keep an eye out for that. If you see someone fighting heli, it's one thing. If they're brand new, make mention of it. Let us know so we can go talk to them. Nothing huge.
Yeah.
Also, as a side note, because T hasn't said it, if you buy a heli and you're not in Heli Island, it will eat your RP, and you will not get a heli.
And you will not get your RP back from the admins. I'll explain why it does that. When you buy something from the commands tab on the /s store, all you're doing is buying a server console command like an admin would type. So like if you buy a golden egg or you buy silver eggs for everybody, it's the same command that I use when I give you guys all golden eggs. You're just buying. So when you hit buy, that plugin takes your RP from you and then fires off the command that you told it to fire off. So when you buy a personal heli, you're actually not doing anything special. We have a plugin called Personal Heli that takes a command and a player's Steam ID and calls a heli in for that player. So when you buy that command, it's an admin only command. When you buy that command from the /s store, the /s store takes your RP and then fires off that heli command. If there's already a heli on the map, it fails and you just lost your RP. If you buy a heli not on Heli Island starting with the new wipe, we've altered the plugin now so it will fire off an error message. If you're not in the Heli Island zone, it'll say something like, warning, you can only use this command on Heli Island. The problem is you bought that command through /s, which means it took your RP, it sent the console command. It has no way of knowing if the command worked or not. It has no way of knowing that. And there's just no way for those two plugins to communicate with each other. So be warned, you can't do it. If you do, like Drake just said, you're going to lose your RP. We're not going to give it back to you. I even added it. I don't think it's updated yet. It may have been updated yet. I don't know. I added it to the /s description of that command, even that it says you can only use this on Heli Island, something along the lines. I don't know if I uploaded that yet, but it will be there. Another new change, well, it's not a change, but another cool thing on this new map, I made a pretty cool change to Zombie Island. There's 2 huge monuments on it now, green, blue, red key cards. It should be pretty fun. They're really cool looking monuments. One of them is a giant fucking gun, and I mean that in a technical term, BFG, big fucking gun. And the other one is like this big power plant thing. It's pretty cool. You guys should like it. All right, anything else from the admins or the staff? All right, going once, going twice. Oh, and I don't know if we had. Oh yeah,
I got a quick thing to say. This is Hannah. I just wanted to congratulate Aliana for stepping up into the lead admin spot that I stepped down from because she's a rock star. And she's put a ton of work into the server, and I haven't had the time with life stuff going on, so congratulations.
That's funny. I literally was about to do that. It's perfect. Yeah, big congrats to her. The chick definitely busts. If you guys, it's unreal how much work that woman puts into our server behind closed doors. You guys really have no idea how much work Aliana puts into the server. Don't get me wrong. You know, me, Drake, Zap, Maz, Nessus, Mac, everybody, we all put tons of work in the server. I'm not downplaying anything that the other admins do. But I mean, Aliana's been even putting me to shame lately. She's just killing herself on the server. So good stuff.
Thank
and
you.
Congrats on your new position. Yeah, and actually we have some new staffers. I'm sure you guys know. They've been doing a great job, absolutely great job, knocking it out of the park with helping new players and all that kind of stuff, knocking it out of the park. It's usually 50-50 with new staff. Half the time real disappointed and half the time impressed. And so far these guys have 100% impressed me. So good stuff. All right, any more staff got anything? Going once, going twice. All right, we're going to move to the last section of player questions. So type your question. If you have a question, you can either type the question in chat or just say I have a question and I'll let you talk, speak up here. Try not to spam chat right now so I can scroll through these without losing my place here.
I'm just giving you the ones that are above.
Okay, well, I'll start with those while people are typing. Are we going to have more than 45 minutes for those nightmare raids? No, because every time you damage something, the timer resets. So you technically have as long as you want. the 45 minutes is really just hey, if nobody touches this base in 45 minutes, it's going to despawn and spawn a different one. So that's all that really is. It resets the timer every time you damage it.
As long as you don't kill the TC.
Yeah, but that of course. Is there any plans to increase the RP generation? PvP players still me. Not at the moment. It's funny. We've struggled for probably 9 months now to lower RP gains. People were just swimming in that shit. So we spent probably 9 months trying to figure out ways to blow everybody's RP to bring it back down to manageable levels. Back in the day, this would be just me, Hannah, and Zap here. Back in the day, 100 RP was a lot. Like inflation has really kicked our server's ass over the years. So we've been trying to get it back down. We always keep an eye on it for balance reasons, but RP is meant to be something that's hard to obtain and something that you have to actually farm for and try for. So, when you raid those raid bases, and this isn't to you stressed, I'm just saying to players in general, when you raid those raid bases and you grab 5 C4 and 7 rockets, and then you bitch and moan because there were 78 other items that you didn't want, go recycle them bitches and sell them for RP. I mean, that's what I mean when I say, you guys, the loot is fine. So there's other ways to get RP. We'll keep an eye on it. If it looks like people are just going broke and not able to do things, of course, we'll make some changes, but we haven't really seen that data right now, so it's not going to be changing. And the tickets, the invisible wall. The good news is the invisible walls on that heli tower, I posted screenshots of it. You guys can see them. If you scroll back up in general, you can see the glass. It's pretty evident where the glass is. And I designed the slits to kind of be like a vertical embrasure so you could shoot between. So it's pretty. I even made some ceiling glass tiles so you can even see as the heli's flying over, you can see what direction it's going. It's really cool. Cooldown for raids back to 10 minutes. I don't know if the cooldown. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It was never meant to be 10 minutes. There was an update to the raid base plugin and it changed the way that variable was configured. And when it did, I guess it reverted to Nivix's default. It was never meant to be that for us. It was always supposed to be an hour. Yeah, I know what you meant, the buy raid. Yeah, it was never supposed to be 10 minutes. The fact that it took so long for anybody to report that to me is insane. So that's definitely not getting changed. Does this include the building blocked by monuments in reference to the TP course? No, it's only for TCs. It's building privilege, I should say, not building blocked. So if you're in someone else's building privilege, then someone else could also mean just the server itself having a TC there from a raid base. So if you're building privilege blocked, you can't TP corpse. Anybody else have any questions? More zombies? We're working on making the zombie hordes harder. You might be kind of new. I don't recognize your name, so I'll explain it to you. Most of our players are already familiar. There's almost like a hard limit to the amount of NPCs that Rust can handle. It's not our server. It's not your client. It's just Rust. It's not a very NPC heavy game. If you play vanilla Rust, you know that some scientists here and there, and that's about it. So we have like this set number from basically experimentation over the years of how many NPCs we can really have on the map at a time. And the other admins can vouch. When we're working on the map, I sometimes have them add up all the NPCs for me so I can see if we've hit the hard limit yet. So there's just a set limit. Raid bases took a huge chunk of that limit. So as the trade-off, you lost a lot of the world zombies. There's just nothing we can do about that. You either get raid bases or you get a bunch of zombies, extra zombies roaming the land. They're still out there, just not as many. Let's see. The Excel spreadsheet. I don't think we're sharing that publicly.
Which Excel spreadsheet?
No, the one about raid bases. That would
no.
Yeah, that would be like instruction manual on how to raid each base and how much boom to bring. So no, we're not going to be sharing that out. Just know that they are literally going through and hand doing every single raid base, tweaking the traps, tweaking the walls, calculating exactly what it takes to raid it efficiently. I mean, it's just insane what they're doing.
And mind you, from a side point, we look at that both from the efficient side and the, Draken Eliana side of, I think we go through here.
Yeah, they're not doing it surgically. They're just, raiding it like a normal player would raid it type
thing. They're doing it both ways.
Yeah, we have surgically and we have us.
That's why we have Eternal helping.
You don't want
Yeah,
the T-Bird. Wait, mine's just admin nuke.
So with that, they have me going through and how I would specifically go through and raid each base after 9-10 months of being on this server. I know most of the bases in rotation. I know what best places to hit them. So I basically go through, find the most efficient way, and they go through their way of how they would, think to raid the base, and then we come to a middle ground somewhere in between.
And those calculations are mostly being done to A, classify the bases as easy, medium, hard, or expert, and B, to beg T to change the loot tables on them. So that's, just know that they're doing all this work for you guys, so that you guys will, have more consistency with the difficulties and have more consistency with the loot you get from them. So they're doing this for you. They're calculating every single one of these. Boomstick, yes, you are not to fight any Hellies on the mainland, period. Natural, personal, anything. Let's see. Okay, any players have any more questions? Now's your chance to type in the chat that you want to say something, or you want to, it doesn't have to be a question, comment, complaint, tell me I suck. I don't really care. Whatever you got to do. Say in chat that you want to step up to the mic and I'll give it to you. Yeah, why is nobody picking up Huey? Or however the hell you pronounce that. That dude's been on our server for a long time. Somebody pick him up. He's a good dude. Look in chat right there. HWUE. He's been on our server for God knows how long. Good dude. Never causes any problems. Knows how to play our server. What's up, Nem? Go ahead.
So, because I haven't had the chance to say this to your face. Hi, T.
Wait, please say it. Please say it.
You're a cunt.
I love it. I love it.
There you go.
God, I can't wait till Dodzy comes back. All right, let's see. Sorry, I have a fetish with Australian or New Zealanders calling me a cunt. All right. I don't know what it is about that. All right, you got a question, Phantom?
Yes, sorry, I'm in here in VC. So I got a spawn just a second ago, and I have no idea what it was, but it made the sounds of a zombie, but all it was a block spinning on like a pole, and it ran at me, and then I shot it once and it disappeared.
And it turned into a bunch of little blocks?
No, it did. It just disappeared.
Was it green like a creeper from Minecraft?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is that?
They're just a little treat that we stuck in barrels to fuck with you guys.
Okay.
We call them Minecraft zombies.
Yeah.
I do. They also punch like trucks.
Yeah, they hit hard as hell. Like I used to spawn them on players to troll players until I accidentally killed a player because I didn't realize they hit like a truck. So, but they only have 1 health, so they're pretty easy to kill.
Oh, that's why I was about to say I shot it and immediately disappeared and I didn't know what the hell happened.
They only have 1 health, so that's pretty funny though. I love that question. Toko, other than your broken caps lock, what you got? Oh, why are the deer? Yeah. So what's weird is when we added all the different things to the barrels, they came with the weird side effect that they attack you when they come out of the barrels. That wasn't intentional, but it was like orgasmically awesome. So that's not going anywhere. You're lucky I didn't put a Bradley in the barrel yet.
We're trying to figure that out.
I'm
actually waiting for that Bradley.
I figured out how to put a Bradley or a heli in the barrel. I know how. It's easy.
What? And you didn't tell me?
Yeah, I didn't, because I knew you'd want me to do it.
I'm still waiting for the barrels to drop C4 on us.
That would be a good idea. I'm sure you guys love the F1 grenades that fall out of them.
Dude, I hear them and I panic immediately.
I've only gotten a bean can. I'm lucky.
Yeah, they'll drop an F1. Well, it's based on playtime. The way I did it was I set it up so that the longer you've played on our server, the more dangerous stuff can pop out of the barrels. So
the hordes out of the barrels scare the shit out of me.
Yeah. All right, any more questions? Anybody else got a question? Going once?
Comment.
Yeah, what you got?
About the scariest thing I've ever had in this game is the horde just randomly spawning on me. Didn't hit a barrel, nothing. I was just walking and it spawned on me.
That's just bad luck then.
Yep, that's just
the crap
bad
out of me.
luck.
I heard 3 chainsaws and I sprinted.
Yeah, Leth. In answer to Leth, you know what? The plugin is real buggy. Even with the man, back when we first started this plugin, and they're still set this way, bears only have a 1% chance, and look how often they spawn. So it's just the plugin. I don't think it does math very well. I'll have to look at it. Yeah, I have to look
it
at
definitely doesn't. Because
Yeah,
I've
'cause if
still
I'm
yet to
pressing-
get an F1 grenade. All I ever get is deer and the random zombie.
Yeah, so if the math was better, I'd do a 0.01 chance of like a Bradley or something. But it's just the math is terrible.
Yeah.
And not only that, but you got to think about, just you got to think every time we do make a decision, we think how much are players going to bitch about this, and we're going to have to hear about it. So
Yeah, I mean, just imagine being that brand new player, just joined the server. You go break a barrel, and there's a fucking Bradley.
Well, not even the brand new player. Well, not even I've seen other players from their bases shooting barrels, veteran players, and here's brand new player walking down a road, and all of a sudden, instead of the zombie going after the player that shot the barrel, it's going after the player that's just walking down the road. So those players that are shooting barrels, sniping them from 1,000 meters away, somehow be aware you may kill people.
That's hilarious.
I'm sorry, I'm very guilty
Anybody,
of that.
anybody else got any questions? Type in chat real quick. Or Eternal, if you have something to say.
Just because I've gotten multiple questions about this so far, the program that was mentioned earlier for the base building is called Fortify. I think it's a couple dollars on Steam.
It was like $3.
The program is incredibly user-friendly, and if you have any questions about the program, you can ask myself about it. I've been using it quite frequently, or YouTube is your best friend with it. The program can literally do everything, and if you want the full like electricity aspect of it, you can also pay, I think it's an extra $2 for full electricity as well. It makes life easy when it comes to building a base. It gives you everything you need to know. It gives you your placement counts. It gives you the build cost to make a base, and it can be used for other things besides making raid bases for the mod. I mean, you want to design a base before going into a wipe. It's excellent for that. It tells you what your upkeep cost is going to be, what your build cost will be to build that base, so you know exactly what you need to have that base. And this will especially help so people don't end up with twig bases all around because they didn't realize they didn't have enough resources to finish that base. It'll tell you exactly how much you're going to need for that.
It even does like a shopping list. Like if you design a base, it'll tell you you're going to need this much metal, this many gears, this many, it tells you everything, like a complete shopping list to make the base. It's really cool. And like they said earlier, you can export the base to a JSON file, which then I can literally throw into our raid bases. Like our raid bases use JSON files. So I could take the base directly from Fortify from you and stick it right in. Obviously we'd put it on our test server and check it out first, but we could just literally take exported files straight from you guys.
And another thing to keep in mind with the raid bases for the server are if you ever decide to design one, is don't focus so much on stability when it comes to these bases. The plugin automatically makes stability 100% on everything. This is so that people don't foundation wipe these raid bases. It's why
Actually, it's not because of the foundation wiping. The way the raid base plugin, the way pasting works in a game is it pastes from top down. So if you don't, so it cannot have stability, because otherwise it goes to paste it and the very top piece is going to be pasted first, which means there's nothing below it, so it's going to fall.
Yeah, and that's
So
just a
so
Rust
forth.
thing. There's nothing we can do about it.
But that it does make designing these interesting looking structures for raid bases that much more fun, because you don't necessarily have to worry about stability, and Fortify allows you to build beyond stability.
Just keep it close to stability. Don't go ape nuts with it. I don't want to tower. I don't want to see a tower like coming off of a one foundation thing that like there's there's some serious Minecraft bullshit going on here, and it shouldn't be happening in Rust. So just be aware, we do want realistic. Just, have a little fun.
Yeah. And that being said, me and Aliana have discussed this, especially with these medium and easy bases. The standard 2x2 is incredibly tedious and boring. So with these, if you decide you want to try and design like easies or mediums, I mean, make them a little RP, make them cool looking, make them different.
Yeah, we've actually been actively removing anything that's just a standard 2x2 or like the easy bases that are literally like a box. Where I've been going and redoing them because of that.
All right. Any other players have anything else they would like to say or ask of us? Bad idea. Does that mean you, or did you just accidentally hit a key on your keyboard?
No, that means me.
Okay, what's up?
So you were speaking earlier about stuff popping out of barrels and the drop rate such. Boom and I had both had a couple drinks. Boom and I have both airdrops come out of grenades. Is that actually a thing or is it an accident?
Nope, that's a thing.
Yeah. I decided to put some night. There's presents that fall out sometimes too. I decided if I was going to be a dick and put all the rabid animals in there, I'd be nice and put a couple nice things in there too. So I can literally make any entity in the game fall out of a barrel. I can make a freaking tree fall out of a barrel. So it's pretty cool.
Do it.
That'd be terrifying. I would
random
shit
tree.
myself.
Or
Fucking
nodes
random-
out of barrels would be awesome.
The sulfur nodes pop out.
Do that. Do that.
No, good. You guys have
No,
enough sulfur.
tree. Do the tree. That I would shit a brick.
Hordes
No,
already
no,
do
barrel
spawn from
tree.
barrels.
Oh god.
Minding your own business and suddenly a stone node.
I think zombie horde from the barrel is already a thing.
It
Yes,
is.
it is.
At
It
least I
is.
think it spawns at least 3, and they spawn around you in a circle, and it's kind of weird.
Again, you gotta remember, for some of you newer people, it's based on your playtime on the server, how hard the stuff is that pops out of there. So
The
as
chicken
you-
hordes are my favorite.
Yeah, some of the veterans get all kinds of shit popping out of barrels.
When
should
Bear
have
Horde.
Evil Santa. Have Evil Santa pop out of the barrel at least once.
I have not gotten Evil Santa.
That would be funny.
As long as it's
We'll
not
have
that
bot.
Santa.
We'll have bot pop out of there with the Santa costume on and his Ioka.
I
Oh,
was gonna
God.
say, you have that. There's an NPC in one of the monuments in a thing in a Santa outfit, and it's named Santa, I believe.
That's bot.
And he has like 200,000 health, I think.
Yeah. Yep. That's bot.
That's the one I mean.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Nope.
And he has an
don't.
Ioka. He has an Ioka that can one shot clap you.
I'm good.
I mean, an Ayoka one-shot claps people anyway. Ask Setter.
The
best part is he fires as quickly as you can fire an AK.
Yep.
Drag, that was very evil.
Question:
Alright.
Why
What you
doesn't
got?
bot drop the glowing eyes anymore?
Because we don't want players running around with glowing eyes trying to pretend they're admins.
Ah, okay.
We've had some issues with players pretending to be admins, so that's why we can't have nice things. Any other questions, comments?
Last comment from me. This is Hannah again. Please remember to vote for our server because it boosts us in the ranks, and also like our social media.
Yeah, don't forget our social media. We have YouTube and Facebook. I know Facebook's for the old people, but sorry, I'm old. Get over it. But we have both. We post videos and different stuff like that.
Wait,
including
Facebook's
the
still a
meeting.
thing?
Yeah. We definitely still have those.
It's right next to MySpace.
Right.
Oh God.
Little glitter gifs all over the place. No, I don't have any plans on making a Twitter. Actually, I got to find somebody to manage the damn ones we have now, just the Facebook and stuff. I'm not very good at this stuff. You guys got to remember, I'm just an old retired cop. I'm not.
If only we had a lead admin who was great at managing hideous things.
I won't get
That-
on Facebook. That's the devil.
Oh, finally found something she doesn't do.
Yeah,
I mean,
not only that, but she already does like 50 million things. We don't need to keep
Yeah,
hitting her up.
Normally I'd offer, but yeah, no, I don't. I've got moral issues with Facebook as a company.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't blame you.
The only reason I have a Facebook
something about mind control. Yeah, I don't blame you. But we won't get into politics. All right. Any other questions or?
So you're not supposed to be able to get glowing masks at all, or is it just no RAM glowing masks?
The glowing eyes are an item, and no, you're not supposed to be able to get those. Glowing
Oh.
masks you can get. Yeah, you can skin all kinds of skins. There's actually an item called glowing eyes. That's what they were
Oh.
talking about.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
Like
one
when you
one
see-
other beat for people on speaking of skin. In case you see people asking, most people haven't also gotten this. There is a bug with a Windows-based server. That is why we have skinning issues with regular Rust items from the official like Rust store type thing. It has nothing to do with we don't want people to skin them. We don't want people to do this. It's a bug on Windows-based servers, which, hey, lo and behold, happens to be our server. So, sorry. Had to
And
throw that
believe it or
PSA
not,
out.
this is going to be very contradictory to most things, but Windows-based servers are far superior with Rust than Linux ones are. I know it sounds opposite. I know it does. Trust me, I know. Trust me. Our first one was Linux because I thought what you thought. Nope. Windows ones are far superior in Rust. Unfortunately, they have a bug right now where they're breaking the vanilla skins. Nothing we can do about it. Facepunch is aware. From many server owners, not just me. I don't know what they're doing.
One good thing though is we have Skin Shop, so you can always suggest this. Yeah, Skinbox. Yeah, Skinbox now. But you can always suggest a skin, and like we have on the Discord a section for that. So yeah, when you really want, just request it.
It's very rare that they get denied, so feel free to suggest one if you like it.
Yeah, we will deny porn. Don't put porn up there.
Unless
Come
it's midget
on,
porn.
man.
It has to be
might let it.
Russian midgets. Has to be
Yeah,
the
so-
Russian midgets.
Oh,
Extra.
there's one thing that you didn't bring up. I'm so sorry that I forgot. The SIL limitations live.
Yeah, I brought that up.
Oh, okay, my bad.
It's all good. Cool. So I guess that's it. Is everybody? Nobody else has anything? We done here? Going once, going twice. Guess you guys want some prizes now, huh?
Prizes.
Prizes. I guess I will be handling the prizes. Let me
C4 for everybody, right?
I can handle it if you need.
I can support everybody, but it'll be beeping.
What?
Since
Do
when
it,
do we
do
get
it.
prizes? What?
We get prizes for those who show up to the server meetings. Aliana, if we just meet up and both do it, and that'll make it twice as fast.
Okay.
Make 2 single file lines. Where do you want to go? I go to town, use the racetrack. Yes, no, maybe so.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Sorry.
All right, so everybody come to town if you want your prize from the server meeting. Aliana, you get on one side of the track, I'll get on the other side, and y'all just get up there and line up single file in front of us. Drac, are you still Drac or Mac or anybody? You want to keep an eye on, make sure no one tries to go back in line and get a second prize.
Sure, I can do that. Go ahead and stop recording right now too.
All right, if they do, just ban them.